intellectual diarrhea all over the place. Not the LAPEEF family, I love them. They just helped me create a conversation here, right? That's what most important to me. My children feel safe coming to me. Yes, we don't care if they're your friend or not. That's just semantics. If they feel like your friend, and that's better than them not feeling like they're your friend, because you will never know that he had a boyfriend at the age of 15 anyway. So you're just basically shooting out blank air. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the part of the conversation we should be having.
Having a boyfriend.
Hell no. For what?
I think
What
Carly
you gonna
should
do
just
with a
be
boyfriend?
strict.
What you gonna do
A
with a
lot of
boyfriend
these-
at 15?
A boy, that's a friend.
No, no. And dating at 15, no. You setting the child up. Boy, hormones, her hormones. No.
Oh, y'all must not remember being 15, huh?
I do.
No,
That's
I
why
was
my
not
daughter
doing
is
that
9.
shit. I was
remember
playing
15.
sports, getting A's.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Well, was you out there
None
at
of us were
15,
doing
Kayla?
anything at 15. We all were just playing sports.
No,
and reading
that's-
books.
No, I was playing sports.
That's
I'm
the point. We
sweetheart.
understand what happens at 15. So the idea is, you know what 15-year-olds think about. So I'm going to protect my child to make sure, again, as a mother, I want to keep my child as innocent as possible.
Because there's a lot of
But
girls.
15.
All right, so this is on parenting, right? So I'm raising 3 kids, right? And for those that know me personally, they know that my wife and I have done a great job. I'm not patting myself on the back. I hope it continues that way. But I've had some experiences that would make me say, you know what? There's a formula to doing this properly, right? Obviously, ultimately, for those of you that are spiritual, it's all in the hands of God, right? But there's some things you can do. There's some skill sets you can have when it comes to parenting. And obviously, parenting goes all the way from birth or adoption, right, to 18 years and beyond. Okay, like even once they become adults, you still will need some certain skill set to relate with them, because they become important people in your life, and that's a relationship you still need to nurture. And the last thing you want to do is do some things when they are babies, when they are 7 years old, 6, 7, 8, 12 years old, and you've done something that rubs them off the wrong way, that creates a traumatic that becomes a traumatic experience for them that they carry into adulthood, and they're not able to heal easily out of it, right? Obviously, there's no one perfect solution, right? But that's often an excuse that people use to not want to learn something new when they're confused. They say, oh, there's no formula to this. Everyone should do what they want to do. I disagree 100%. Everything we do in life as human beings, in this human experience, can be learned. You can learn some things, right? Some people have created formulas. They've done studies, right, around certain strategies that work and some that doesn't work, right? And it's based off of real life samples, okay, of data, that means human beings, and examples and case studies of one way of parenting, correlating with certain results, right? So they're talking about 15 years old. Should a 15 years old have a boyfriend, right? Should a 15 years old have a boyfriend? I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, the idea of a 15 years old having a boyfriend, I'm 42 years old now. Idea of a 15 years old having a boyfriend is completely a strange idea, right? That doesn't mean that teenagers did not get with each other, even sometimes, yes, in Africa, for those of you that didn't know, impregnate themselves, impregnate the girl, right? Unprotected sex, bad behavior, smoking, stuff that they have no business touching, right? And anything you can think of in terms of being a bad kid, yes, existed in Africa too. Never mind the cap that some of those other African kids are putting out there. It's everywhere in the world where there's human beings, there are bad kids and there are good kids. That's just the bottom line, Okay, so now with that being said, there's some skill sets that you can have, and part of it we have to do with how objective, how capable are you of being objective when it comes to raising kids. I've heard quite a few people, they tend to want to talk out of their ass like, nah, don't spare the rods, spare the rods and spoil the child. They can't think of anything outside of written stuff, forgetting that it was human beings who wrote those things in the first place based off of a cultural orientation at the time it was written, right? And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that, based off of some people's religious beliefs, which there's nothing wrong with that. Some people just don't know, right? And they tend to talk out of their ass, like I said, like, hey, I beat the nonsense out of my kids because that's how they did me, and I turned out all right. That's a terrible way of thinking about the human experience. The human experience is evolving always. And even if you don't want to evolve, you still want to pay attention to the devil you're fighting against so you don't hurt yourself. So even if you want to retain traditional values, it's absolutely ignorant and irresponsible to not pay attention to how the times are moving, right? With that being said, a 15-year-old with a boyfriend, it depends. It just depends. It depends on what you mean by boyfriend. What do you mean by boyfriend? Sometimes they have a little puppy love and they call it boyfriend. They don't even hug, right? So it goes back to, do you even know your child enough? Like, your child may say, oh, it's my boyfriend, but they've never hugged before. Do they feel free to have conversation with you like that at that level? If they don't, your problem is bigger than a boyfriend for that 15-year-old. Like, if your 15-year-old locks up the door and they lock the door and you can't like twist the knob to come inside, even if you choose not to, but the idea that you can, right? If you're not able to do that, you don't even know your child, and you're all over the place capping about how capable you are of instilling certain rules in them. Okay? So I'm going to say this about that. It really, really just depends. It depends on what we're talking about. Can a 15-year-old have a boyfriend? It depends. When I was growing up, it wasn't allowed, but also the way I was raised, my parents did a good job. I'll give them that credit. However, there's a lot of bad kids that came out of my generation as well. Okay? Hey, Just Jay, how are you? How you doing, my sister? Right? There's a lot of bad kids that came out of any generation, in any society, anywhere in the world, right? So it depends, right? Again, it depends on how much do you know your child. If you don't know your child and they're having a boyfriend at the age of 15, it's already probably bad. Like, it's probably too late for you. The more so reason why you want to engage emotional intelligence skill set, because you're going to need it, because that baby has a lot going on in her head and you have no idea. And because you're one human being, there is no way you could possibly cover all the details of what's going on in that baby's head, right? But if you know your child and they come up and say, and they can feel free to come to you and say, Dad, what do you think about having a boyfriend? Or Mom, what do you think about having a boyfriend? And they don't feel free to be able to have that conversation with you. Again, your problem is bigger than just a boyfriend. They're probably smoking weed already every other second at the age of 15. They're probably drinking already. They probably sneak out at night already. There's just so much going that you don't know. And the more you tell them you can't do this, the more they create sneaky ways to do even worse. Because you don't know your child. Everything goes back to, you must know your child. Okay? You should do everything in your power to make your child feel safe to come around and talk to you. Make them feel like they can say, Dad and Mom is my friend. Some of you are so stuck in semantics. No, I'm not his friend. I'm his father. That's semantics. It doesn't matter. If your child could care less about you being a friend anyway, how does that even matter? It doesn't matter. You're stuck in semantics as opposed to the reality of the results that you're creating. Right? So, again, can your child say, I feel safe, I can go to my dad and my mom and talk to them about anything? If you don't have that, you will never know that she had a boyfriend at 15. How about that? How is that for a surprise for you? Okay? So it doesn't even matter. A lot of these conversations don't matter when it comes down to real life. Do you know your child? Right? Can your child say, yes, I can come to daddy, mommy, have a conversation without it, I'm not her friend. None of this, right? All this kind of craziness, right? It's just intellectual diarrhea all over the place. Not the LAPEEF family, I love them. They just helping me create a conversation here, right? That's what most important to me. My children feel safe coming to me. Yes. We don't care if they're your friend or not. That's just semantics. If they feel like your friend, then that's better than them not feeling like they're your friend, because you will never know that he had a boyfriend at the age of 15 anyway. So you're just basically shooting out blank air. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the part of the conversation we should be having.